Wings of Destiny. The departure lounge at Newark International Airport was buzzing with a cacophony of voices, the symphony of anticipation and anxiety that always accompanied the moments before a flight. Passengers checked their boarding passes, peered at departure screens, and muttered to themselves about the delays. Among the crowd was Elizabeth, a 30-year-old marketing executive with a love for adventure and a fear of stagnation. Elizabeth had always been a planner. Every detail of her life was carefully mapped out, from her career goals to her 5-year plan for settling down. She prided herself on her ability to control her destiny. However, on this particular day, the universe had other plans for her. The announcement of a 2-hour delay sent groans and sighs rippling through the terminal. Elizabeth's frustration mirrored that of her fellow travelers, but she was determined not to let the situation dampen her spirits. She took a deep breath, adjusted her carry-on bag, and found a seat by a large window overlooking the tarmac. As she gazed out at the grounded planes, her mind began to wander. She thought about all the adventures she'd yet to experience and how this delay was getting in the way of her carefully planned schedule. Frustration gnawed at her, threatening to consume her positive outlook. In the row of seats across from her sat Henry, an older gentleman with a salt and pepper beard, reading a thick novel. He exuded an air of calm and acceptance, as if he'd seen delays like this 100 times before. Henry, a retired college professor, had a way of finding the silver lining in even the most frustrating situations. Elizabeth's annoyance grew as she watched Henry sip his tea, seemingly unbothered by the delay. She couldn't understand how someone could be so content while her well-ordered life was unraveling. After some time had passed, and Elizabeth's frustration was beginning to boil over, Henry glanced up from his book and met her gaze. His eyes held a warm, empathetic quality that seemed to pierce through her frustration. In that moment, she realized he had seen something in her expression that she had been trying to hide. "Is this your first time dealing with a flight delay?" he asked, his voice kind and soothing. Elizabeth hesitated for a moment, unsure whether to engage with this stranger. But something about the way he had looked at her, the way he had seen her inner turmoil, made her feel compelled to respond. "No, it's not my first delay," she admitted with a hint of exasperation. "But it's always so frustrating. I have a tight schedule waiting for me at my destination, and this delay is messing everything up." Henry nodded, understanding the source of her frustration. "I know how it feels to have your plans disrupted. But sometimes, these unexpected delays can lead to remarkable experiences. It's all about how you choose to see it." Elizabeth raised an eyebrow. "Remarkable experiences at an airport? I find that hard to believe." Henry smiled, revealing a wisdom that seemed to come from a lifetime of experiences. "You'd be surprised. I've had some of the most memorable conversations with strangers during flight delays. It's like the universe's way of saying, slow down, take a breath, and connect with someone new." Elizabeth was skeptical, but there was something about the way Henry spoke that piqued her curiosity. Perhaps it was his gentle demeanor or the idea that there might be more to this delay than her initial frustration. With a sigh, she asked, "Tell me, then. What remarkable experiences have you had during flight delays? Henry put a bookmark in his novel and leaned forward, as if preparing to share a cherished secret. Well, once I met a woman who had spent years living in remote villages in Africa, helping communities access clean water. Her stories were so inspiring that they stayed with me for years. Another time, I met a musician who serenaded passengers with his guitar, turning the delay into an impromptu concert. Each of these encounters left a mark on my heart. Elizabeth's skepticism wavered, replaced by a flicker of curiosity. But how do you know who to approach and talk to in a crowded airport like this? Henry chuckled. It's like a sixth sense. You just look for someone who seems to be in need of a friendly conversation, someone who might be going through the same frustration as you. You'd be amazed at the connections you can make. As Elizabeth contemplated Henry's words, she realized that maybe there was more to this delay than she had originally thought. She looked around the terminal, scanning the faces of her fellow passengers. Some were engrossed in their devices, while others stared impatiently at the departure screen. And then there was Henry, sitting across from her, an unexpected source of wisdom in the midst of chaos. Feeling a shift in her perspective, Elizabeth decided to embrace the delay rather than fight it. She took a deep breath and looked back at Henry. You know what? I think I'm willing to give this a shot. How do we find someone who needs a friendly conversation? Henry's face lit up with a smile. You've made a wise choice. Let's start by observing and see who might benefit from our company. It's like an unspoken language that you'll learn over time. And so, Elizabeth and Henry began to observe their fellow passengers. As they scanned the crowd, a mother with a fussy toddler caught their attention. The child's cries were echoing through the terminal, and the mother appeared flustered and overwhelmed. Elizabeth turned to Henry, her eyes determined. I think I've found our first conversation. Henry nodded, and they both rose from their seats and approached the distressed mother. Elizabeth offered a warm smile and said, "Hi there. It looks like your little one is having a tough time. Can we help in any way?" The mother, surprised by the kindness of the strangers, managed a grateful smile. "Thank you. It's been a long day, and this delay is not making it any easier." Henry knelt down and began talking to the child in soothing tones, distracting the toddler with a few magic tricks he had learned over the years. Elizabeth engaged the mother in conversation, sharing stories of her own travels and experiences. As the minutes passed, the child's cries transformed into giggles, and the mother's tension seemed to melt away. The delay that had initially felt like a burden now became an opportunity for Elizabeth and Henry to make a difference in someone's day. They chatted with the mother, offering her support and empathy, and shared travel tips and stories. By the time the announcement was made that the flight was ready for boarding, the mother and child had both calmed down, and the three of them exchanged contact information. As Elizabeth and Henry returned to their seats, they shared a sense of fulfillment that no flight delay could ever take away. Elizabeth realized that the delay had led to a beautiful moment of connection and support, something she had never anticipated when she first stepped into the airport that day. The flight took off, and Elizabeth found herself contemplating the profound impact of that brief encounter with a stranger. It had not only shifted her perspective on the delay but also reminded her of the beauty in connecting with people from all walks of life. Over the next few months, Elizabeth kept in touch with the mother they had met during the delay. She learned that the woman's name was Maya, and she was a single mother traveling to her hometown with her toddler, Lucas. The unexpected friendship that had formed in the airport had continued to grow, and Elizabeth, Henry, Maya, and Lucas had even planned to meet up when their paths crossed again. Elizabeth began to see that life was not always about adhering to strict plans but also about embracing the unpredictable and forming connections with others. Her perspective on her career and personal life began to shift. She started taking more risks, embracing spontaneity, and seeking out opportunities to connect with new people, just as she had with Henry and Maya. The following year, Elizabeth decided to take a career break to travel and explore the world. She remembered Henry's stories of meeting extraordinary people during flight delays, and she wanted to experience those moments for herself. She began documenting her travels on a blog, sharing stories of the remarkable people she met along the way. One day, while Elizabeth was in the bustling streets of Bangkok, she received an email from Henry. He had come across her blog and was delighted to see how she had embraced the spirit of adventure. He mentioned that he would be visiting Southeast Asia with his wife, and they would love to meet up with Elizabeth during their trip. Their reunion was filled with joy and laughter as they explored the ancient temples of Angkor Wat together. Henry's wisdom and Elizabeth's newfound adventurous spirit had led them to this incredible moment. As the years passed, Elizabeth and Henry continued to share their adventures and stories. They learned that the most beautiful moments in life often emerged from unexpected situations. The flight delay at Newark Airport had been the catalyst for a friendship that would change both of their lives. And so, Elizabeth's life transformed from a meticulously planned path into a journey filled with unexpected friendships, remarkable encounters, and the exhilarating joy of embracing the unknown. She had learned that in the midst of life's delays, the universe could open doors to unexpected destinations, leading to a more fulfilling and inspiring life. As Elizabeth and Henry continued to explore the world together, they shared their stories with the world, inspiring others to see the beauty in life's delays and to seek out the remarkable connections that could be formed with strangers in the most unexpected of places. Thank you so much for watching this video till the end. Please hit the like button if you like this video, and hit the subscribe button to learn English through watching these kinds of interesting stories daily. Please click on the screen on any video showing on your screen to watch it next. Once again, thank you so much for watching this video till the end.